Alright guys, we're working on the Ford 3600 here. Having power steering problems. Now, whenever I bought this tractor, I was told that it did not have power steering, and so no surprise when it was hard to steer. About, I don't know, a few months later though, I lost this front tire, and then realized that there was a ton of play in the spindles and axle and everything, and so I tore into that and rebuilt the front end of it. While I was fixing the alignment, I happened to notice this guy right there, power steering pump. So now I know that the tractor is capable of power steering, and I want to get that fixed because that would make my life a lot easier. So the pump appeared to not have any oil in it. I hooked a 400 psi gauge up to it. I figured it was going to be producing less than 100 psi, and it pegged it out. So I now have a 4000 psi gauge on here. So let's start this up real quick. Alright, so right at 700 psi. So, okay, so I'm going to assume that the pump needs to be replaced. I've also, the steering wheel appears to have just a little bit of play up and down as I turn it. Maybe a 1/16 of an inch. I don't have anything out here to measure that with me. And I think it might just be in my imagination. I think the bottom of this that I'm looking at may actually be slightly angled, so I may not actually be seeing any play in there. I'll have to figure out how to measure that to determine it. But if that does have play in it, from what I've read on some other forums, that could be indicative of wear or a broken component somewhere in the steering column. So, all right, we're gonna get a pump on order, and then let me know if you guys think there might be an issue also with that control box. The other problem that I'm having with this is that it's pulling hard to the right. And it took me a couple weeks to rebuild this, and so I may have actually reversed the spindles. They are a right and a left. They're not universal. And as you can see, I've unhooked the power steering cylinders. Another note is that I can turn the wheel. I can't do it on camera, but I can turn the wheel so that cylinder wants to move, and I can actually reach down here and hold it and stop it from moving. Now, if that's actually making 700 psi to the cylinder, I don't think I would be able to hold it. It's 1 3/4 bore in there, so I mean that's going to be like, I don't know, what would that be? Probably around 300 pounds, something like that, of force. So I don't think that I would be able to hold it. Now, that may just be that I can hold that back and it leaks more in the pump, but I may also have a problem up here in the control valve. So, like I said, we'll get a pump on order, but let me know what you guys think. Do I have a problem with the control box? If so, you know, I need to tear into that and see what it is. And obviously I have a problem with the pump, which makes sense because it didn't have any oil in it. Once I realized that it was there, open it up, and it's hard to see because it's got a loader on it, right? But as far as I could tell, there was no oil in it. If it had any oil, and this is, you know, my view looking down into the cap, it does have oil in it now, but my dog's hunting mice over there. As far as I could tell, it did not have any oil in it, so it makes sense that the pump is trashed. This control valve, though, I'm still worried about it because, like I said, at 700 psi, I would think that it would still be stronger than I am on this cylinder. So I don't know anything about this valve, really, how it works. So let me know if you guys know how that works and what the problems might be. Appreciate your help so far, and thanks for everything. See you guys next time.